These union workers that have been working countless hours under the Trump administration, I'd like you to explain how you plan to not only keep us working, but how you intend on getting the union vote when there is a large portion of the union workers that are gun enthusiasts, and you are actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. And from the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my sons hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to shush. Shush.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, let's talk about who Biden might be as a president, Trump, and celebrities in politics. But first, roll the intro. All right, so thank you for coming back and watching the show. And if it's your first time here, thank you for clicking on the thumbnail and watching it. Or if you're listening on, by the way, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public, which are all platforms you can be listening to the show right now on. Or again, if you're listening on there, thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. One more thing I appreciate from you guys, if you guys don't mind, it takes about 2 seconds and just hitting that like button. Really appreciate it as well. Helps out the show a ton. Okay, let's jump into today's show. So let's first start with the little clip, right, that I put there in the front of this video. And if you guys are listening and don't know what I'm talking about, really, I'm discussing what I, in my opinion, feel is Joe Biden's true colors. I think he showed a glimpse of who he might be behind the cameras. Now, being me specifically, an individual that prepares, this show you're watching right now, with my notes here in front of me. I talk about it with my writers that help me put the show together. Shout out to them. I can tell you firsthand that what you see here is obviously what I want you to see, right? Me doing this great set of hair here, ironing my shirt. I actually don't do that. My wife helps me out with a lot of stuff like that. But everything else is what? Put together for you, right? I owe a lot of who I am to a lot of people, right? This is not just all me. So with that in mind, you have to hopefully also accept that who Biden is in front of the cameras is put together by a lot of people, between his wife and maybe whoever else lives with him at home, all the way to the office and whoever works for him, including that young, fine lady you saw there at the beginning, where he, very politely, of course, says, shush. Again, for those of you guys listening on the podcast, he basically tells a young staffer to shush, literally, those words.
Shush.
Right? Because, she was doing her job. Now, what do I mean by that? What her job? Well, if you don't know this, many times people in politics, celebrities, right? They have their entourage, or they give them, fancy titles like staffers and assistants and all this other stuff, right? And their job is to make sure that when stuff gets too heated, between the celebrity or the politician and the crowd, hey, get me out of there, right? That's really what their probably number one job is don't let me put my foot in my mouth. Don't let me look bad in front of the cameras, right? Especially now where there are cameras all over the place, right? And cell phones everywhere. Everyone basically has a camera. I know I was looking for my cell phone. So what is that? What does that mean for Joe? That means shush. Shush, woman. That is what to me, right? In part tells me. Some of you guys, like my audience here, is like, that's not true. It's shush employee. Okay, sorry. But I want you to really consider this, okay? I can tell you this firsthand. Yeah, like not theoretically speaking. No. Firsthand, I can tell you that a lot of the times, these individuals, especially when they amount to having the wealth that Joe has, right? And I know a few of them, that have plenty of money. They almost feel entitled, empowered to tell their employees to be quiet, to shush. And by the way, if anyone disagrees with them and says something like, hey man, hey, you're fired. And that's what potentially this young staffer could have faced if, she would have had, some might say, the audacity to stand up for herself, right? To not take that kind of treatment from her employer. She shouldn't give a crap that it's Joe Biden, that he's been in politics for X amount of years, right? No one should care, that you are, I don't care what name actually you claim to have. I don't care if you're Elton John. I don't care if you're Obama. I don't care if you're the Pope. If you dare to tell another human being, especially like that in such a public setting, to just shush, F you. 100%. Yeah, so if for some magical reason the president or president-elect sees this, F you, dude, for doing that. How dare you tell that to either an employee, right? She may work in an office, but she's still a worker, blue or white collar worker, however you want to define her, right? She is actually one of us. And then for that matter, if you guys didn't catch there even before that, that's just his persona, is to tell, again, blue and white collar workers, shush and things like you're full of, again, you can go back and play it again.
Shush.
That's just, how he feels, how he's entitled, how he's been brought up to speak to other individuals, right? They are not of his level. Now, a lot of you guys can be like, JT, well, come on, man. He actually told that to even Trump, remember?
Will you shut up, man? Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
And Trump's another rich prick. Okay, sure, he told him, just be quiet, man. Just shush, man, whatever. Honestly, it didn't feel like it was as ballsy and as just outright, the disrespect just felt different than when he did it to Trump. Well, you just shut up, man. This is like another old dude with another old dude. Well, I'm going to come over there and be quiet. Get your gut. Kenny, shut up. Take your pill. With this girl, if you, again, go back and inspect the tape for yourself. You have to have some critical thinking, right? And how he addresses people. I'm not saying rich pricks don't cuss at each other and tell each other off. No, I've heard it, but it's just different than the way they address their employees, than the way they address people that they're not like, you don't, sleep in the same bed I do with, my 1,000 billion gajillion freaking, threaded sheets and, the zip code you live in. I have to pay you. Trust me. You may have a great relationship with your boss, and he might be or she might be extremely rich and give you like $5,000 bonus or some crazy shit like that. But not very many people might be as lucky as you. And for that matter, make sure that you don't have like this veil over your face. That money is just not like, right? It happens, right? Just saying. You again, what I want, if anything, is for you guys to really start considering, right, that this individual who, was elected president or, allegedly, according to the AP, sure. Did he finally get rid of the bad orange man? Sure. And by the way, let me also say that, no, I don't give a crap about Trump. I don't care that Trump is no longer our president, and I'm one of those guys that is like a Trump supporter that I'm devastated. Stop it. I don't give a shit about Trump. Screw that guy. Screw him and all his, just everything he is. He deserves all the nasty titles people have given him. He's earned all of them like badges. So no, this is not a defense for Trump. Screw that guy too. If anything, is to show you guys what I've been saying, right? For the past few videos. Don't let this, like the veil that I'm telling you guys about, right? mess with your critical thinking and understanding that we have another rich prick that, doesn't work for you. As he told that factory worker, he is not one of you. He is honestly not going to give two shits more than when the cameras are rolling. And that is that. Just because he knows how to address the camera and sit there and romanticize you with words and his hand gestures and look around and look very honest and, don't let that crap again fool you into thinking that, well, JT, at least he's not as bad as the orange clown. Well, I will say that at least on camera, when the cameras are rolling, he's not as bad. I kind of agree. Just this is why I said it showed, at least to me, his true colors. He was in the heat of a moment, right? Everybody, I love when people use those excuses. He was in the heat of the moment, JT. Well, how many heat of the moments do you think are going to happen when the cameras are not rolling, right? If that's what he's willing to do in the quote-unquote heat of the moment, when there's a lot of cameras and there's a lot of cell phones right in his face. You just imagine what he's willing to do when he's actually told, Mr. President, absolute power, ladies and gentlemen, corrupts. Okay? If you've never experienced it, even the slightest amount of power, whether when you were a kid and your mom's like, hey, watch out tus hermanitos, okay? You're in charge, and you're like, I'm in charge. Hey! This is me? Okay. Or even at work, how many people have you either dealt with that they were given a title, either formally or maybe just temporarily, and you're like, I can't stand this one walking around like he's like, hey, Paul, calm the fuck down, okay? Mary will be back on Monday. Hey, but it's Friday. Just think about it, right? And imagine someone, telling another individual, you are the most powerful man in the world, Mr. President. And at that age, when he's forgetting shit already, that's right. If this guy walks out of the White House one day and demands a Triton, and it's like, I'm Aquaman now, that's it, I'm done. Just kidding. My wife's telling me to be nice. I am being nice. Just messing with everybody here. But let's be honest, right? Just listen, I'll leave it at this. Use your critical thinking for this, okay? Don't get romanticized by the celebrities. Which, now that I mentioned celebrities, let's go right into that segment, right? And that is the celebrities. Real quickly, this won't be a long segment. That continuously have tried over and over and over and over to make it seem like, you should care as much as they do, because if anything, they care more. Right? Their wallets are much bigger than yours. And they're much prettier. Now, we all probably remember that atrocious video. I'm sorry. I watched it from different angles. Watch it from over here. I watch it from over there. I lower the volume. I put up the volume. I'm like, and maybe there's a way to watch this video. What am I talking about? Roll the clip.
Imagine there's no heaven.
No hell below us.
Imagine all the people.
Yeah, that imagine all the. No, I can't even do it. I'm trying to. I tried for a second there. I tried. I'm like, maybe you sing along with them. Nothing. There was this. I felt cringing. I wasn't here by myself. I was singing to it with with Gal Gadot. And I was like, imagine. No. I sing. I apologize to the air. I'm like, I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, listen, sure, you might be human. You might bleed, eat, and you shit like the rest of us. But unfortunately, one big factor between you celebrities out there, and this includes, by the way, the so-called social media celebrities, right? The influencers, you guys and us, is that we live, most of us, paycheck to paycheck, or at the most, some of us live month to month, right? Where if you don't have a steady source of income for 1 or 2 months, you're dead in the water, right? And that is scary. For those of you guys right now watching that you're like, I don't know what that is, JT. I'm sorry then you know where you stand. tú estás más para allá. You're more over there than over here. And, it is a big factor when you're sitting there telling us who we should and shouldn't vote for, right? Because at the end of the day, those policies that those candidates may or may not pass will obviously affect us very differently. When it comes to the celebrity, influencer, basically the rich pricks group and the ones that are not rich pricks, right? And, it's just every election cycle or every so often, these so-called influencer celebrities come out. Here's another one.
On Tuesday, November 8th, this country will make one of the most important
decisions in its history.
Register.
The what?
Save the day
Make Mark be naked.
by making your mark on November 8th.
They should just vote because it matters, Don't you think?
Now, that one was from back in 2016, right? And you have, pretty big names. Mike Ruffalo and even Robert Downey Jr. himself on there, right? Saying vote, this, like Don Cheadle said, this is we need to do this. This is world shattering. And by the way, putting aside who unfortunately has passed away since 2016, right? Whether due to the pandemic or whether due to any other unfortunate event, the world hasn't shattered into a gajillion pieces and, we're living in rubble, and at least not here in the United States, like most of the celebrities live. And they're making it seem like in 2016, as you heard it yourself, you're like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, Don Cheadle. You're right. If I don't go vote right now for Hillary, oh my God, this basically means Armageddon is coming. That's how I take it. Because that's the way they're exaggerating it. Of course, they throw their own comedic relief, right? In that moment, they're like, Mark Ruffalo is going to come out nude. And you're like, ha, ha, ha. Oh, so funny. So funny. No, it's not. That part, that somehow Mark Ruffalo, is going to be full frontal and that's why you should vote. It's pathetic. In my opinion, this is stupid. When you're of that wealth, can you have your opinion? You're human, I guess so. But honestly, anybody really paying attention and listening to any of these celebrities and influencers and telling you how and who you should vote for, I can't say it enough. You're doing yourself a disservice because at the end of the day, you're not like them. Maybe if you tell me, JT, I have $300,000 in the bank. Okay, I paid off my Beamer, my Mercedes, and okay, I'm good for you. Congratulations. I guess you're one of them. I'm sure. Good luck, celebi. But I think for the vast majority of us, I think we should think twice, especially when we have such a young generation of individuals, right? Like I've said before, continuously on the internet, right? And easily getting influenced by these so-called influencer celebrities. Okay, and with that, let's move on to the last segment. And that is Trump. Okay. So in this one, I want to talk about some of the stuff that I think now is happening to Trump that some people, right, are going to be clapping. They're like, yes, finally. Taste of his own medicine. Well, to start, there's a lot of, news saying that once Trump is out of office, he is no longer going to be given the same privileges in with Twitter as he has now. All those abilities for him to spout all this crazy crap. And to be fair, and to some extent, they have treated him, differently than they would treat any other crazy dude tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning, spouting possibly conspiracies. And you can say, well, yeah, dude, he's a U.S. president. Fair enough. Okay. But allegedly, no longer as of January. That's it. Once Biden is inaugurated, they're cutting him off. I'm pretty sure that the day, I'm just theorizing here, but it'll be really funny. If there's reports that the day that they're shaking hands, it's like Twitter's like, done. Goes to his phone. It's like, oh, I'm going to tweet about this. And he's like, hey, and his Twitter's gone. It's like, your account has been temporarily disabled. That'd be really funny. Come on. But that's one thing. Second thing is that now even Fox News, which for a long time now, technically since 2016 or so, was a big cheerleader for Trump. Many other outlets were accusing Fox of saying, hey, you guys are always on his side, even when he says the most craziest shit. For the vast majority, at least for the vast majority of the anchors on that network. Not every single one of them, but the majority. And now it's like even they are cutting off their transmission if they feel like Trump is for some reason, again, spouting crazy crap. Specifically, they did it to Kayleigh McEnany, right, which is Trump's press secretary. She was talking and blah, 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 and there's a point where Fox, one of the Fox anchors didn't like what she was saying, which is allegedly spreading misinformation about, the voting and all that. And he's like, okay, all right, well, I cannot let you, in good faith or something like that. Keep watching that. In fact, Nod's roller clip of that.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. Trump. Election interference from big media.
We have to interrupt here because the president has made a number of false statements.
We're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio.
Okay, here we are again in the unusual position of not only interrupting the President of the United States, but correcting the President of the United States.
According to the legal votes, he believes he wins. That's false. The legal votes, if you want to use that term, or the votes that have been lawfully apportioned, meaning what we've been following in each of these states, do not show that. They actually show what we've found, which is some states going in both directions, no one to 270.
So there, you see that, she's just like, okay, no more. We're cutting her off. He tries to justify it, but many outlets are saying, man, Fox would have never done that if Trump would have been, announced to be reelected. Because there were, again, based on some opinions outside of Fox, MSNBC or even CNN, they're like, dude, you guys are always kissing his ass and, always letting him rant and stuff like that. Especially when he was on Hannity, which, yeah, it was true. Now I guess, Fox is like, have a new man now. I'm going to move on, Trump. It's not us. It's you. You lost the election. We have to move on, Yes, if you guys are wondering, Trump is right here. Shh. It's not fake news. Cállate. Gets a little rowdy sometimes. But, yeah, it's really interesting, to see that, I think Trump's going to start losing a lot of his, you can kind of say his political influence, celebrity influence. I don't know what you want to call it. I think ultimately, much like many other presidents, to be fair, right? He's going to be just another fart in the wind. He was there, I kind of smelled him, and then that's it. You never smelled him again. Now, can the guy run again in 2024? Yeah, possibly. But here's one thing that I want you guys to I guess think about, right? While I'm closing out the show. It's a theory. But in 2016, did Trump win because the country was more racist or less racist? I would argue that actually, I don't think neither. I actually don't think it had much to do with race. Because if anything, you can't have it both ways for some of people, right? I don't want to say some of you, but some people saying, the country now is more divided and racist than ever. Then how is there a leader? You can, again, some of them saying that. How is there a leader being, pushed out of office? So no, you can't have it both ways. So what I actually think happened in 2016, ready for this one, is the United States actually wasn't being racist, but rather sexist. Dare you accuse the United States of America? Well, just hear me out again. I don't think the United States was ready for a woman president. Now, you can say it's because it was Hillary, dude. It could have been any other woman. I don't know that that's true. Why? Because we had women run. In fact, for the maybe one or two of you, Kamala Harris, the vice president, or soon to be vice president, was running for president, for the actual seat that now Joe Biden will potentially hold. So no, actually, I don't think that in 2016, again, a theory, the presidency went to Donald Trump because he had an overwhelming amount of racists, voting for him. I think there were some, sure, of course, I'm sure. I think there were some people that were just blinded because it was Trump and he was a celebrity, and some people actually were fans. There's a lot of reasons, but primarily I think that there was a deep, maybe unspoken reason, and that is that the United States in a way it's if anything it's more sexist than racist. Not every single person. I don't want everybody out there and be like, "How dare you? JT's canceled." No. It's just again, critical thinking, right? And now Biden, right, has just the right amount, right, of woman influence in his campaign, right? She is going to be the vice president, right? But if he is going to speak to her, possibly, I don't know, the way he spoke to that staffer, yeah, you can say, JT, well, hold on, is this about her being a woman, or is this about being her a blue or white collar? Is it both? I don't know. Either way, Kamala's going to be under Joe Biden, right, in terms of the titles. So I don't know. Is it? You tell me, right? I'm just, throwing theories out because I'm seeing what I feel right now so far is what we can at least tell what that presidency will look like, right? We do it with Trump all the time. We did it with Trump since he was elected. When he's like, oh, grab him by the, everybody's like, pig, this, that. I wonder how he's going to treat his staffers. I agree. I actually agree. All I'm doing is doing the same thing with Biden because unlike a lot of other networks, in fact, a lot of other YouTube channels, I try to be truly 100% in the middle and unbiased and really call them both for who they are, right? Their flaws, and if you can kind of say some other pluses that I'm sure Biden had as much as many people argued Trump had as well. But to sit here and be blind about it, no. And Trump, again, I don't know, guys. Unless something magical happens and the guy stays as president, which I agree with pretty much every outlet out there. It's gone. It's done. He can throw his tantrum. All he's going to do is tweet his life away, while Biden is actual president. And, eventually Twitter's going to shut him down. And then that's it. What he's going to do? Buy newspaper, whole pieces, whatever they call them, op-eds, whining and crying. Sure. Is he always going to have his loyal fan base? Sure, I guess. But congratulations for many of you guys, right? That were just like, please let him be gone. Congratulations. He's gone. Right? But now it's time for you to do your part in holding your new president, or again, president-elect. A lot of people get very, very touchy when I say president. President-elect. It's time for you guys to hold him accountable. Right? Which, by the way, it is very interesting that even TYT, which is considered to be one of the most left-leaning, even though they call themselves progressive outlets on YouTube, even they had this to say about Joe.
He also tells his campaign worker, she's off camera, she's a woman, shush when she tries to calm the situation down.
Oh my God, imagine if.
There are portions of the interaction that you didn't see on tape, so I want to share it with you. At one point, Joe Biden tells the worker, "Don't tell me that, pal, or I'm going to go outside with your ass." At that point, the construction worker responds to him and says, "You're working for me, man."
That's a great point. But a voter has every right to ask you questions. I got to ask crazy tough questions.
Right.
And I never threatened to beat anyone up.
Right.
That's insane.
So here's what Joe Biden's response was to an American citizen, a US voter who said, "You're working for me, man." Joe Biden responds and says, "I'm not working for you. Don't be such a horse's ass." That was the most honest moment for Joe Biden.
Yes.
That was a very honest moment. And we shouldn't just gloss over it because that's what he genuinely thinks. He doesn't think he's working for you.
Yeah, so there you have it. Even TYT is giving Joe a piece of their mind. Sure, this happened back in March, but I think it still counts, right? So yeah, interesting next 4 years. I think that we're all gonna have. for sure. But we'll see what happens. As always, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, see ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the episodes, full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there, and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.